It's social work month, and as a social worker, it's the perfect time to talk about games that are for and about mental health. Cool! Welcome back to my channel. As a social worker, I am so passionate about mental health and bringing awareness to it, and I find that gaming is such an amazing way to be able to interact with topics surrounding mental health and also as a way to help with your mental health. The thing I love about cozy gaming is that when it touches upon topics about mental health, it does it in such a lighthearted manner by bringing in all these heavy topics that you don't feel like it's putting on an extra burden to yourself or putting you in a worse mood, rather than actually engaging with things that are heavy and can be difficult but can be brought in a lighter way. Cozy gaming definitely has games that help you when you're in a mental rut, so this list will consist of some of those games that I think are great when you're in that rut, but also has a bunch of games that educate and bring awareness to different mental health and how to go about different diagnoses and conditions and some of the internal battles that people face on a daily basis that you are not aware of all the time. So let's get into some of the games that I decided to put together. But before I mention any of them, I want to mention that even though I am a social worker and I am licensed, this is not medical advice. This is purely what I believe has helped me in different situations, in games that I think that do foster a sense of awareness and education, but also provide comfort and relief for when you're in a sort of mental rut. My first list focuses on handheld gaming, because when I am in the mood to engage on something on a little bit more of an educational base, or I'm in just the worst rut possible and I need my mind to relax after dealing with heavy topics or heavy things at work, or the depression or anxiety kicks in, I like to be able to curl up on my couch with my blanket, something warm to drink or something cool depending on the weather, and one of my handheld games. So this first list is going to focus in on Nintendo Switch games, and because I love that PC gaming can be handheld, some of my favorite games that are Steam Deck verified. To start off the list, we'll talk about Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing and overall farming sims in general. These games I find to be amazing for relaxing and comfort because you get to engage with that creativity side a lot of the time, such as Animal Crossing, or beautiful storylines and NPC interactions like Stardew Valley and many farming sims. And because they're typical cozy gaming staples, I find that the familiarity and knowing how the games are supposed to run can be super comforting when you're in a mental health rut, if you just want to do something that is mindless and doesn't require you to really try to figure out the mechanics of how a game works. For example, Animal Crossing New Horizon, a game you can pick up on the Switch, is such a great game to engage in creativity since it offers you the ability to decorate outside. My favorite thing about games like Animal Crossing is the ability to freely decorate and explore your sense of design. In the earlier games, this was a bit more limited, with the ability to only decorate the inside of your home, planting trees and flowers, and creating some clothing patterns. I think those are great starters for designing and really stress-free if you want to do designing in doses and focus more on character relationships and the overall development of your island. I love, though, that New Leaf introduced Happy Home Paradise and expanded more on the concept of interior design. I think it is a great start introducing more intricate designing abilities and the possibilities that the Animal Crossing franchise has with future expansion. And then the thing I love most is that in Animal Crossing New Horizon, your creativity is more expansive. You can bring your designing skills to the outdoors and into the houses of your fellow villagers. Happy Home Paradise has endless possibilities, and unlocking the features in HHP gives you even more features for your island. I also love how paths and designs are shared globally among Animal Crossing New Horizon players, and you can really customize the way your island looks. With Stardew Valley and other games like Octopia, Roots of Pacha, there is nothing more soothing than being able to engage with virtual farming. Farming sims are a good distraction from everyday stressors through farming, relationship building with other NPCs, and in particular going to the mines and hitting rocks and sometimes fighting monsters to release some of that pent-up anger. I find mining to relieve a lot of stress. And because they are farming sims, you know the farming is very straightforward and the familiarity creates a sense of peace and security. But each farming game is unique, and that is the best part. For example, in Roots of Pacha, you are focused on prehistoric farming, development of your clan, and mini games in the mines. There is no money interaction, but rather contribution points to help further the development of your clan. That unique gaming mechanic really drove me into liking the game. Octopia is set in a dystopian time. There is no need to play the base game, but I found that playing Eastward really made me appreciate Octopia even more. You are farming typical crops, developing intimate relationships with characters from Eastward, but aside from farming and raising the flying pigs and flying cows, you remain the master chef John and prepare dishes to sell and for the storyline with characters visiting from out of town. Sam and John still work together and you see that wholesome relationship continue to grow. But if I have to pick a particular farming sim that I think would be great, this list focusing in on mental health, I definitely recommend Wildflowers. It's a game that you can play both on the Switch and on your Steam Deck. I have recently been streaming Wildflowers over on Twitch and I love it. With Wildflowers, the basic farming storyline is there, but with more depth. You move from a city after a relationship ending and come to be with Grandma on her farm. You learn the secrets of being a witch and also deal with death, grief, and mourning in such a real and powerful way, but presented in a very light manner. I find the topic of loss and death handled so beautifully in this game and how it impacts immediate family members but also friends in the community. And there's something so great about being able to engage in a fantasy realm and being a witch to also distract from some of the stressors that come on with everyday life, but also to handle this topic in a very light way. The next game I want to recommend is Unpacking because it touches upon not only the story behind moving up in life and different stages of your life that you're living out, but also because it offers you the opportunity to unpack. And as a type A person, as a person that likes organization, I love being able to organize and put things where they belong. It's a game that's available for both Switch and the Steam Deck, and I got it for my computer, so I played it on the computer at first and then moved on over to my Steam Deck, and let me tell you, I got the same experience. Unpacking does a great job of showing players how moving into different rooms or places changes with the different stages of life. It shows the consistency and impact that certain nostalgic items hold in our lives, as seen with the pig stuffed animal throughout the game. And it also shows the ways relationships affect how we express ourselves in a home. This retro-style game is a phenomenal game for decluttering your mind and finding peace and organization, and also touching on topics of nostalgia and growth. The next game on the list are Coffee Talk 1 and 2. And the reason why I say games, it's because it is 2 games, but basically 1 game because you start with 1 and then you can go on over and try out the second one in the series. So up to you, but I definitely recommend playing them in order. I love Coffee Talk, and Coffee Talk is such a great game if you are really trying to engage with more narratives or you like reading, because I find reading to be absolutely soothing when I'm in a rut. I just want to engage in a world or immerse myself in a world that isn't this one, whether it's a fantasy world or a thriller, because thrillers are possibly my favorite genre out there, and then fantasy is up there with it as well. And narrative style games just give you the opportunity to engage with a book basically in a visual manner. Coffee Talk 1 and 2 are both available for Steam and for the Nintendo Switch, and can be playable on both devices. Visual narrative style games where you also interact with the gameplay and not simply click next is probably what I love most about the Coffee Talk series. These games are great if you are a reader but want to break from a book and want to engage with a game that tells a lovely story with classic pixel art-esque graphics and a soothing color palette. On top of that, the characters are all very fantasy based for our fantasy book lovers. These characters each have their own individual stories that at times overlap with each other. And you, as the barista, run a nighttime cafe where you listen to problems and try to offer advice by making a drink of their choice and even attempting latte art. There is nothing cozier than coffee and reading. and these games offer an escape from the chaos of reality and into a fantasy realm. Next on my list is Garden Buddies, and Garden Buddies is a game that helps you interact with a little garden that you put together, but also helps you practice different self-care type of techniques and mindfulness and engage with doing things that make you feel good and relaxed. It's definitely a game I would recommend maybe getting when it's on sale, since it is on the shorter side and you might not be playing it in large doses at a time, but want to pick it up in smaller doses to relax and enjoy some moments of stress-free gaming. Garden Buddies is available to play on the Nintendo Switch. It's not Steam Deck verified, so it'll be one of the games recommended in the next part of this video. Garden Buddies is probably one of the first I have come across that introduces mindfulness and stress relief activities in a gaming platform in such a nice introductory way. If you are thinking of trying out a cute whimsical game to do some relaxation techniques, Garden Buddies does that. You interact with cute, vibrant fruits and veggies and cultivate a garden. Interacting with other plant creatures in mini-games helps form bonds. You explore box breathing and grounding techniques while delving into emotions and engaging in discussions that promote emotional well-being. The story is 90 minutes long, so play it in doses or replay it again. The next game on the list that I'm recommending is Gris, and this game touches upon the topic of depression. So if you want to see how that plays out in a beautiful, interactive, minimal text style game with vivid colors and a storyline that should evoke some sort of emotion, definitely give this game a look. It is available both on Nintendo Switch and on the Steam Deck. Gris is so beautifully done. Talking about depression is not an easy topic, but the way the character wears her sorrows in her dress gives a wonderful visual representation, and her dress itself is a tool. The illustrations are delicate and impactful. Although I am not a fan of platforming and would not recommend one when in a mental rut, this platforming is simple. My favorite part is the minimal text and the emphasis on the serene world and the music. The next game on my list is Florence, which is available for both the Steam Deck and for the Nintendo Switch. So if you're looking for a game that's focused in on the topics around self-image and kind of that feeling of what am I doing, is there worth in the things that I'm doing, and also the development of a relationship, I would say definitely give this game a look. It is a game that is short and sweet, a game that I thoroughly enjoyed playing completely, and after I was done, wishing that I could play more because I felt so much emotion as I was playing it. In Florence, you get a short, sweet, and simple game with amazing webcomic influenced graphics, touching on those topics of relationships and self-worth and self-image. I was left wanting more as I live every day of Florence's life in this game. My favorite part of the game was the easy mechanics. The subtle puzzle mini games were not stressful, and uncovering different images and messages were very satisfying. At the end, you are left feeling for Florence and having engaged with a story that is more common than not. Florence is great for short moments of gaming. There are two more games on my list, and the second to last one is A Short Hike. And A Short Hike, I think, is a great distraction or release of stress and engaging with a different world filled with nature and greenery and animals if you need that in your life right now. I think it's great for a mental rut type of situation. A Short Hike is available for both the Nintendo Switch and the Steam Deck. In A Short Hike, you get to hike, climb, and fly as a bird, as if that were not peaceful enough. Even if heights might not be your thing, the flying in this game is very soothing and not stressful. Although the graphics turned me off at the very beginning of my cozy gaming journey, this game is truly beautiful with the harmonious colors and delicate art style. You have the option to follow the marked trails or take on your own journey to explore the backcountry. And along your hike, you interact with other animal hikers and discover some hidden treasures. This game really does allow you to take a break and immerse in a virtual hike like no other game I have seen before. If you need a refresher during a mental rut,
pick up this short, sweet game.
And last on my list of Nintendo Switch and Steam Deck verified games is Spiritfarer. Spiritfarer has been talked about over and over and over again in the cozy gaming community because of the fact that it interacts with the topic of moving on in such a gorgeous way. And I will emphasize gorgeous because the graphics are stunning, but gorgeous in the sense that you interact with preparing somebody to move on to the next stage of life in such an intimate way that it portrays this life of this character, and you get to know their history, their backstory, who they were, engage with their home that shows trinkets of who they are, prepare them to move forward by living out those last moments and those last adventures together.
Spiritfarer really does a great job of talking about death and moving on in an intimate and light way. You interact in a gorgeous world where your boat houses all these characters, and your main job is to enhance their homes, create their work or hobby rooms, and help them live out the final tasks before they are ready to say goodbye. I love that you can place the rooms wherever you want on the boat, but more importantly, that the room designing is just you purchasing and unlocking decorations assigned to the character without your ability to edit and customize yourself. It adds a sense of appreciating the character fully for who they were.
My next list is for my cozy gamers out there who find relief in being at their gaming desk setup, who like being able to play at their computer because their gaming setup is their safe space, is their space of relaxation, or because sometimes you have a gaming PC that you can take back with you on the couch and just play your computer game and take your computer with you to go to find that sense of cozy corner comfort. Keep in mind that any of the games that I mentioned that are Steam Deck verified have options for it to be played either on PC and Mac, but definitely all into this category of PC gaming. So if you liked any of the Steam Deck verified games, but you don't own a Steam Deck and think to yourself, you know what, I really like to be able to play that on my computer, they are playable on the computer. So check out the ones that I said were Steam Deck verified if they called out to you, because you'll have the option of being able to play them in this category. But I wanted to pick out some games that I know are not Steam Deck verified, are not on the Nintendo Switch, but are on Steam for your PC. The first game on my list is an idle game, because I feel like idle games are such a great way to interact with gaming in small doses. So the first game I have is Chillquarium. I do have a demo of the game on my page if you want to check it out. Chillquarium is available for both PC and for Mac, and I play it on my Mac most of the time.
With Chillquarium, you own your own aquarium, watch fish grow, unlock and discover different species, and decorate your tank. Idle games, I find, to be great for little moments of distraction and relaxation because they do not require you to spend hours in one sitting, but rather the little tasks or things you do in the moment will show progress with time. So pick up the game when you are feeling a bit overwhelmed with work and need a quick break. Check how much money your fish are making you, sell and purchase new fish, and come back in a few days to see what you unlocked or how you can upgrade or decorate your tank.
This next game talks about chronic illness, and I think that that's something that we need to bring more awareness to. So this game on my list is called Robin. This game is also free to play, so if you want to learn a little bit more about mental health and chronic illness and how it interacts with each other, give this game a look.
Robin is a phenomenal short game introducing and providing visibility to an invisible illness and bringing awareness to it. If you are interested in living out a day of a character with chronic fatigue syndrome, this game is great for that. To start off, the graphics are soothing, and in order to really engage with the game that touches upon mental health, I always find that graphics need to not overly stimulate, but rather encourage comfort. It's a short game, meaning you only live out 3 days, but in those 3 days, your decisions impact how the days go on. But there is no such thing as a perfect ending to the game, which brings that sense of reality with any chronic illness.
And the last game on the PC list is Garden Life, and it's on the PC list because the Nintendo Switch version is just days away, but it's still not released on the Nintendo Switch. Garden Life, I think, is such a great game if you're looking to actively engage with the outdoors in a virtual way, or your green thumb is not as green screen so you feel comfortable not killing any plants in a virtual game. And I think there's something so soothing and relaxing with gardening that if you are stressed out and looking for a piece of heaven or a piece of tranquility, garden life definitely brings that forward. I have seen a dear friend play this on Twitch and I am relaxed every single time she plays it. I love the way she interacts with the flowers. I love the way that she shows off her garden. I love the graphics. I love how easy she progresses through every day. And I think that if I can see that in another person, I want to evoke that for myself as well.
This game is the epitome of gardening brought to a virtual world. On days that might be hard to go out, I find that garden life brings that comfort and sense of the outdoors into your hands. And it might even slowly bring you to spend some time outdoors as well. The graphics are very lifelike, and you take care of plants and learn about them in a realistic manner, and can choose to either play in story mode or creative mode, however you feel like de-stressing. Probably by the time you see this video, it will be released for the Switch. So pick up the game if gardening brings you peace and you want to do it in the palm of your hands or on the big screen.
And the last list that I have are mobile games. For those of us who need doses of relaxation when we're on the go, or if you just want to have a mobile game because there aren't many out there that you think are fun to play, and because the reality of it is our phones are with us almost 99% of the time. I want to mention that Florence and Gris also have a mobile versions, especially for iPhone users. So if you want to try out the games on your phone, you could definitely play them on your phone. Florence would definitely be a game that I could see myself playing on my phone since I know what the mechanics are on the Switch and they're very basic and straightforward that playing on a phone would not be difficult at all. The first game on this list is specifically for mental health practices, and that is Finch. I love Finch. I didn't know about Finch until one of my cozy communities introduced me to it, but it's such a great tool for practicing self-care for yourself, but also as an accountability for your other friends.
Finch is by far my favorite pocket-sized game. Between the customization of your bird to the decorations for your treehouse, this game offers some many wonderful interactions to help promote self-care practices. Every day, set new goals to complete or have some of them set on repeat as a daily reminder of ways to practice self-care. Unlock stones as rewards for checking off your self-care to-do items, send encouraging messages to other friends, and have them join your tree. And meditate on your mood throughout the day and choose activities that can help boost your mood. Accountability has been so great through the use of this app, and sending some encouraging words to friends is so rewarding.
The last mobile game that I want to mention is called My Oasis, relaxing and satisfying. The first thing that drew me to this game were the graphics. They're boxy, they're colorful, there are animals. There's just something so absolutely beautiful about the visuals of this game that I think really help when you are feeling super stressed out.
My Oasis is a great game for some mindful practices around stress and anxiety relief. Having a colorful landscape filled with animals and music in the palms of your hand is great for moments where you are on the go or in the office and need a moment to center yourself. You have control over changing the music and weather to a scene that best evokes some tranquility for you. Plants will pop up as you tap away on your little island. It truly is a little oasis from the chaos around you.
And that's all I have for games for and about mental health. I wanted to make sure that this list had a variety of different games from handheld to PC to mobile to be able to show you that mental health is a click, a button, or even a phone away. Mental health is so important, and during this social work month, I want to emphasize the importance of mental health. So if you are in a rut and you want a game to help you out, try one of the ones from this list. We range from free to games that are on the higher end, around $50 or $60, so there's definitely a game within the range for you and the accessibility to any one of these games. So remember to be kind to yourself, engage in awareness and education, and thank you for watching this video and for taking an interest in cozy games and mental health. From one bichota to another, stay cozy and see you next time. Adios!